Yay, all right. Hey guys, what's going on? It's Friday. I'm excited about tonight. I've been in the studio like hardcore. I'm not lying.
Stay with it.
Hello. All right, what's going on?
Oh, stay.
All right. Welcome to the pre-show. I'm all hyped up. Yes, I am. Masterclass tonight. Sorta. We're going to talk about mixing. What the hell is mixing? I mean, what is this? People want to know.
Stay with it.
Everybody talks about it, but no one really knows, unless you're in it, unless you're doing it. So we're going to break it down. I'm going to break it down. Where's everybody from? We got New Jersey here. Yeah. All right. Cheryl in Indianapolis. Yeah. New hairstyle is called I got out of the shower and it was cut and it's just kind of fluffy. It's Fluffy Hair Friday in the studio / Masterclass.
Stay with it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. It's gonna be okay. We're gonna be all right. So, yeah, the new album is being mixed right now. Bob Horn is in the studio in Los Angeles mixing these new tracks. So I thought I'd break it down and talk about what does this mean tonight. So that's what we're doing. Yeah. Little Rock, Arkansas is in the house. Barbara, hello. Columbus, Ohio is here. Cheryl, what up? Chesterfield, Virginia. New Orleans in the house. Norfolk, Virginia. Buffalo, New York. Hello, Jennifer.
Stay with it.
We got Nashville. We got Dayton. We got Houston, Texas. Oh, yeah. What up, Texas?
Stay.
All right. Delphine, thank you. Oh, very nice. The stars are blinging tonight.
Stay with it.
Colorado is in the house. Hello, Sunny. Mary needs to be mellowed out. I guess we're gonna be mellow tonight, but we're gonna be talking about techniques. What do the terms mean? What is this?
Stay with it.
What's reverb? What's EQ? What does all this do? What is a compressor? We're gonna get down in the weeds and really talk about what things mean and what do they mean sonically. That's what I'm saying. All right, we got St. Louis in the house. Chicago is here. Hello.
Stay with it.
Lynette. Hi. Ooh. Lorraine says, hello, NOLA. Her hometown. Where are you at now? All right. Joycelyn in Virginia. Hello. Janet in Maryland. Oh, Deborah in Diamond Bar, California. Oh, we have a lot of females. One to tune in to learn about the mixing process. Keith says, Memphis is in the house. Yes, Memphis 10. What does that mean? I don't know. We got Louisville, Kentucky is here. Yeah. Mark is also in NOLA. He says hi to Lorraine. Long Beach in the house. Hello. Yeah. Yeah. Angela is looking forward to mixing. Yes. Tonight, little masterclass. Who needs masterclass.com when we can learn about musical things right here on the hang. That's what I'm saying. Fayetteville, North Carolina. Hey. Virginia Beach is here. Yeah. Birmingham, Alabama. The Magic City. I didn't know that. We got Cincinnati is in the house. Hello. Jamie in San Juan, Puerto Rico is here. Hello. Desert Ridge, Arizona. Right on the ridge of the desert. Yeah. Charlotte's here. Hey, Charlotte. Serena in Georgia. Georgia. We got Baltimore, Regina, and Kevin. Jim in Pittsburgh. Yeah. The DMV is in the house. Always. As is the ATL. All right. Nolans. More Nolans. They spelled it out. In apostrophe AWLINS. Nolans. Yeah. All right. Very, very, very good. Durham, North Carolina. A lot of Carolinians here tonight. Portland, Oregon. Jocelyn, hello. In Portland. She says, stay with it. I'm with you.
Stay with it.
Hello. Yeah. Victoria Hill. Still celebrating the birthday from a week ago. Lady Coco sending some love from Los Angeles. All right, let's get ready. Let's do this. All right. Wow. Hey, it's Brian Culbertson. We're live, and it's Friday night. Oh, yes, it is. It's Friday night, in case you didn't know. Oh, I need my cup. What up? Yeah. Sing it.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. I don't know.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night.
I'm in a mood tonight. What are you gonna do? All right. What's going on? Tonight, it's a mixing masterclass about the art of studio mixing. What?
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Yeah, it is Friday.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Oh, the stars are coming.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. Friday night. It's Friday night. It's Friday. It's Friday night. 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 See, that's a delay. Oh, okay. Let me pause this thing. There we go. No more blingy sounds right now. How you doing? Welcome to the show. I'm gonna get over here to the Pro Tools rig. That's what we use. That's the first thing we're talking about. What are the tools of the trade? I mean, y'all use an email app, use a spreadsheet, use this and that. We use, it's called a digital audio workstation, DAW, a DAW, as some would say. There are many different ones, but the main one that most people use to record and mix albums is called Pro Tools. You've probably heard of Pro Tools, but that's what I'm going to be using tonight. All right. You've made it to the hang. So shall we go over there? Should we go over to the Pro Tools rig? You see, I make tracks. The initial sounds and stuff come out of Logic. That's a different program, different DAW. But Pro Tools, I always record and mix in Pro Tools. That's what we're going to be doing. All right? So I got that camera there to show the whole room. So normally I'm right here. It's my, central command center. It's where my Logic rig is, my keyboard. But over there, that's Pro Tools. All right? So I'm going over there. I'm going in. All right. Yep, going over here. Taking the microphone over. All right. I set the cameras up differently. Hello. Welcome to the Pro Tools cam. Is it working? Is this thing on? All right, just kidding. I've also set up some split screens so you can see what else is going on. So we got this camera, and then so you can see the wide. And then, I've taken it. I got a lot of things, different tonight, just to demonstrate what's going on. So I have a mixing board cam. Yep, there it is. Well, here's my hands. I can touch things and blah, blah, blah. Back to the Pro Tools cam. Yeah. And then I got a split screen with the Pro Tools file, the session window itself, and then the two others. So I'm still in the frame. Hello. Yeah, I got to figure out where I'm looking. All right, so then I got the mic over here. So this is the Pro Tools session. There's different views. Let's make it smaller so you see all these tracks. So I have the song up called Eyes Closed, a new song off the Trilogy Part 1, the Red album. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about, mute that one. I'm first going to play, it has now been mixed. Bob Horn in LA has mixed this song. We're going to talk about what he does and how we collaborate remotely, which is pretty cool. So start off by listening a little bit to the final mix. This is the final mix, but I reserve the right to still make changes until it's due to the manufacturers. Okay, here it is. Final mix, eyes closed. I'm going to go in a little bit so you can hear the groove. Here it is. All right. Better use headphones. Listen to the space. Fade that out. Now let's talk about this. Final mix there. So you can really hear every little part, very clear. And yet there's a space created. Certain things are right up in your face, right up on ya, and other things sound far away. And that's important about mixing, is creating a place for each of the instruments so that when you're listening to it, you can clearly kind of hear everything in its own place, its own space, their own frequencies, their own, where are they living, so to speak. So that's what mixing's all about. It's taking the raw tracks that were recorded and putting them together so that it sounds like a record. All right. So with that said, let's go to the beginning of how a mix starts. This is normally how I start. I actually don't know how Bob starts. Everybody probably has their own process. So let's look at the Pro Tools rig. Here's all the tracks. So kick drum. There's a bunch of snare drums, different snares. There's a hi-hat. There's a trap hi-hat. There's a verb hit, a knock, a cymbal, a block. Reverbs, there's a bunch of basses, and then I color coordinate. I got to coordinate. Keyboards I always make kind of green. Let's see. Here's some other keyboards that are yellow. My piano is bluish. There it is. So those are all the tracks in this song, Eyes Closed. So if I unmute the first track, kick drum, and I'm going to zoom in. All right, here's the kick. I'll make the kick drum track really big so you can see it. So these are the little waveforms. You probably have seen a waveform before, potentially. If I zoom way in, whoops, that's a kick drum. Let's listen to that. Oh, wait, hold on. I gotta hit this button. A lot of buttons going on. Okay, here's the kick drum. Okay, that's a little weak, isn't it? Doesn't quite sound like Bob's mix, does it? It's like, it's puny. So, what do we do with that? Well, I'm gonna turn this up a little bit. So we got to start adding things. And so let's look at what we add. Oh yes. I'm very prepared here. This is our syllabus for the night. A 1-hour syllabus. Here's things that we can talk about. So the first thing is the volume of each track. How loud should it be? I don't know. It can be anything. So here's the kick drum level. Let me do this. Let me just start it here. So I'll let the kick drum just play by itself for a while. All right, there it is. So you can turn it down. Now it's very soft. Extremely soft. What's number 2 on the list? Panning. What is panning? That's left and right. Where is it in this stereo spectrum? Well, kick drums typically go up the middle. So, but if I wanted to go left, check this out. It's on your left. Do you have headphones on? Or you can put it on the right. Boom. For now, we're going to keep it up the middle. Uh-huh. All right. So let's see where these snares sound like. Well, there's an 808 snare. And then a big snare. And then a bunch of other snares. Okay. Well, let's check this out. So I took one of the snares and made it echo, but then panned the echoes in different places. Check this out. Did you hear that? That's panning and volume. So each one gets a little softer. Yeah, these are the things you do in mixing. So I could totally change it if I wanted to, right? I can make these echoes really, really loud and get louder. Check this out. And I can reverse the panning. What? But I don't like that. So I'm going to go back to where it was. It's crazy what you can do. How many things you can actually manipulate while mixing. So, where's the hi-hat? This is a hi-hat. It's very soft. But there's a second hi-hat too, called the trap hat, like in trap music. You hear that? Yep. So if you put those together, it's kind of the initial drum track. So you set the volumes of each instrument individually. So, I mean, it could sound like anything, but this is how I wanted it to sound. So this is the beginning of the mix. So let's look at our list of other things you can do. All right, so we talked about volume and panning. How loud is each instrument? Where is it panned? Left and right or up the middle? The next thing is EQ, equalization. You're all familiar with, a stereo system with bass. Some have mid-range. So bass and treble and mid-range. EQ, when you're talking about mixing an album, takes that and puts it on steroids. For real. Okay, let's go back to the kick drum, shall we? And get an EQ up. So, here's an EQ. This is interesting. First of all, I'm going to bypass it. Let's just listen to the kick. There's the kick. All right. Let me turn this EQ on. See what it did. All right, slightly different. What if I do this? Whoa. Whoa. You can totally manipulate a sound with EQing. And all it does is adds or subtracts certain frequencies. So this particular EQ is showing what frequencies are coming out of that particular sound, if that makes sense. So right now, this one that I'm grabbing, it shows 70 hertz. If you know anything about audio, 70 hertz, that's kind of the low end range. So it's peaking there. So I'm going to turn it down a little bit. But then just below it, I'm going to bring out more subs. First of all, I'm going to get rid of that. So you have a little more booty underneath. All right? All right. So that's what EQ does. I'll do it on some other tracks too. For instance, snare drum. Let's listen to snare. There's the snare drum. One of the snares. So let's get an EQ up on the snare. What can we do to this snare? What if I want more nasty? So I'm going to grab a mid-range. Did you hear that? Oh, now it's very thin. What if I want more sizzle? Hear the sizzle? All right. I'm going to take that off because I don't want it. Let's get it back to what we call flat. That means no EQ. Flat. All right. That's the sound flat. I like it. I'm going to keep it flat for now. But I guarantee you Bob probably EQ'd it with something. And I'll explain that later. So you know a little bit about an EQ now. What's the next thing? I'm just going to go over some general terms in the beginning. We got lots of time. Compression. So a compressor will take the sound coming into it and, in essence, make it so that it's not as unruly. So if you're playing a sound that is very dynamic, you can take a compressor and put on it and tell it to do you see what I'm saying? Instead of that's what it compresses. It compresses the amount of dynamics within a particular sound. So it also can change the transients of a particular note. And the transients is the attack. How does the attack sound? And especially on a snare drum, you can change the attack of a snare drum with a compressor. So here's a compressor. It's an emulation of an old school 1176. You don't need to know that. But, so let's turn it off and see what the snare drum sounds like with no compression. All right, so it's a little wimpy. It's a little fluffy, like my hair tonight. Okay, so let's pop this compressor in. All right, all of a sudden there's a little more attack. So we're going to do this. Even more attack. We're going to change that. Even more attack. Hear how it's like a little more aggressive? Let's bypass it. Fluffy and softer. On. More aggressive. hitting harder. So that's what a compressor does to this snare drum. So it depends on, what you're going for. So I'm going to keep it on there. Here's all the drums again. All right. Let's go and add some more instruments, shall we? Yeah. All right. What's next? We got something called a verb hit. I name things based on what I think they kind of sound like. Verb hit. Verb is shorthand for reverb. So this is what that sounds like. Did you hear that? Well, that's panned all the way to the right. All right, let's put that in the mix. See where that sounds. Hear that? All right, cool. Next is a knock. Knock, knock, knock. All right, so the knock is similar to verb hit, but different characteristic. And that's panned a little bit to the left. So here's where that goes. Whoa, pretty cool. Then we got a cymbal. We all know what a cymbal is. Well, that's a dirty one. That's a dirty cymbal. We also have a block. And this is, I believe, a real percussion instrument. Up. Yep. That is a raw track right there. There's nothing on this. You hear that? It's very soft. Let me turn it up. That's a block. So, which leads me to the next thing. Reverb. We all know what reverb is, right? So, if I go back to Pro Tools here, and we listen to the block again, and then I put some reverb on it, check this out. Let's see. Oh, wait. Hold on. Oh, it's the other reverb. Tell me to stay with it. Oh, here it is. It's over there. Okay. Reverb. Ready? For real now. Same sound. With reverb. Now no reverb. Wow. So, check this out. Listen to the drum beat with no reverb on the block. So lame. Let's put the reverb back on the block and see what it does. Here it is. Whoa. Crazy, right? All of a sudden it puts it in a place far away. So you want certain things at different distances so that your brain, when you're listening to a mix, it can kind of, I like to say, step into the sonic world that you're trying to create as a producer, artist, mixer. So that's what reverb can do. So that's a fairly long reverb, 4 seconds long. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's how long the decay is of the reverb, 4 seconds. But you can change that to anything you want. For instance, yeah, so let me get up the reverb. It's called the plugin. Here's what I was using, a vintage reverb. So trying to sound like a concert hall in the 1970s. You can choose the 70s, 80s, or now. So I like the 70s, concert hall. 4 seconds. All right. So let's hear that same block sound. And then totally change up the reverb. Whoops. Hold on. All right. So here's the sound. right? What if I did this? Whoa. Come on. Weird. So it's endless what you can do. I won't bore you. We're going to go back to the original setting. 1970s, concert hall, 4 seconds. And then within the reverb, you can also EQ the reverb. So I was cutting the high end down so it wasn't as sizzly. So check this out. Here's back to what I had. It's nice. All right, we're going to leave that alone. So here's what we got so far. Here's the drums. All right. Come on. There we go. Are you with me? Whoop, focus. There we go. Stay with it, camera. So here are all those individual little sounds. Now, for fun, let's go back to Bob's mix and listen to that same section. See if you can hear all those things. All right, that's it for now. Let's keep adding stuff. It's fascinating, isn't it? I find it pretty cool. Let's go on to the next track. What is this? Bass. Oh, okay. All right. There is the bass. Wow. Okay. What did Bob do to the bass? Well, I think most likely, I got to call him on it. He added some EQ. And every time I talk to Bob, it's all about, like I said, carving out frequencies so that all these tracks, however many tracks we have, 50 tracks, whatever it is, can live harmoniously together and not be too cluttered. So, as more and more tracks get added, sometimes you'll have to dip certain frequencies so it won't be too muddy or too like in their way of each other. So that's what he is really, really good at. Figuring out the different frequencies to make sure it's not too much on one frequency. So if this bass is clashing with another sound, well, maybe he dips out a little bit here in order for that other sound to come through, or vice versa. So let's listen to the bass and start doing some EQ. So as you can see, there's a lot of this frequency, which is around 50 hertz. So probably dip that a little bit, right? But see how there's an edge to that sound that's kind of, I don't know, mellow right now? What if I wanted to add, I think I told him, is like, can you make it more edgy? So you're going to add some mid-range. So let's just listen to the mid-range. So that's more edgy part of the sound. So yeah, I added a bunch. Yeah, there you go. Oop, come on. Yeah. All right, let's bypass it, see what it sounds normally. It's subtle, isn't it? That's the art of mixing. There's a lot of subtleties. But when you do this over 50 tracks, these little subtleties really make a big difference. Otherwise, it becomes a mess and there's too much going on. All right. So, what else we got? You know what? We're at the midpoint, and I do have some birthday shout-outs. I'm not going to lie. So, let me go over there. Yeah! All right. Whoops! All right, you guys. I could not give some shout-outs tonight. A lot of birthdays. Elaine Miller. Hey. Cheryl Gregorio. G. Gregorio. Yeah. Tara Washington. Darlene and Maylene Dilworth. Roberta Berry. Kay Gonzalez. Jean Keller. Quazine Sprav. Nisi H. What up? Elizabeth White. Ava Diaz. Johnny Bollinger. Winston Harris. Raymond Harris. What up? And LaRonda Garrett. What up, LaRonda? Hey. Oh, we got a lot of special stuff going on, too. There's so many things going on. I got to do it again. Oh, it's going to happen again. We need more balloons. Okay. There. You know, Joanne Morgan would have been celebrating her 19th anniversary tonight. Her husband passed away. But we're thinking about you tonight, Joanne. But celebrating a lot of anniversaries. Oh, my goodness. Keith and Ann Fudge. Mark and Joe Edgington, 16 years. Oh, Denise and Richard Turner, 20 years. Mark and Mary Smith, 30 years. Brian and Sherelle Clark, also 30 years. We got Michael and Fran Knowles, 36 years. Bill and Sue Orban, 42 years. And celebrating 49 years. 49, that's a 4 and a 9, is Keith and Cindy Hayden. Happy anniversary, you guys. And happy birthday to you, if it's your special day this weekend. Oh! Wow. All right. And many more. There we go. All right, back to Pro Tools. Yeah. How we doing? We good? All right. Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. It's back. All right. Okay. Going back in. Going back. Yeah. Okay. Hello. I'm back in. What else we got? Real quick, I want to talk about, the relationship between myself as the artist producer and Bob Horn as the mix engineer. So what I always end up doing is putting together what I call a rough mix. It's just kind of a mix that I think sounds good by myself. So I will send that along with all the raw tracks to Bob, who then starts creating the mix, loosely based on the initial rough mix, because that gives him an idea of where the main volumes and pannings and general reverbs are, right? Otherwise, he's just stabbing in the dark, So instead of me being there, saying, oh no, it should be like this, the rough mix, which I'll actually play you. Check this out. Yeah. So the rough mix sounds close to the mix, Here's my rough mix, the idea. This is my rough mix. All right. For reference, let's listen to the mix that Bob did, that same part. Oops. So, to my ears, it's more punchy. It is clearer, and certain sounds are more apparent. And there's more space, more depth, and in general, more clear. So, all right. Hope that helps. All right. Okay. Let's move on. What else is on this list? Delay. This is one of my favorite things, is a delay. So I kind of sang it earlier. Friday night. That's a delay. And that can create space in a different way than a reverb creates space. So let's set up a delay and see what that sounds like. All right. So we're going to do it on, let's see. Well, let's just take the raw piano, shall we? So, the piano sounds like this by itself. Let me go up to the verse. Oops. Here's the piano. Raw, dry piano. Just me in the room. Raw, right? Okay. First of all, let's add some reverb. See what that does. Puts it in a concert hall. Right? But what does delay do? Let's check this out. Here's some delay on the piano. Whoa. Kind of crazy, right? But here's the trick. What I always like to do is take that delay that you're hearing. It sounds kind of crazy and kind of messy. What I like to do is, this is a good trick for any of you out there mixing yourself. You put a reverb on the delays, separate from the reverb that's on the sound itself. For instance, let's add a reverb on the delay, and here's what that sounds like. It puts those delays far away. Like the piano is like in this bigger arena almost. So that's just the delay with the reverb. Let's put the piano reverb on and the delays. Ready? Whoa. Pretty damn cool. Let's take all the effects off and hear the piano one more time with no effects. Whoops. Wow. And now, with reverb and delay. One thing I forgot to mention, a lot of times I'll do some pre-mixing. For instance, my piano, I had already added EQ and compression to on this track before I sent it to Bob, because I wanted it to be close to how I wanted it to sound in its final state. Things that I did EQ-wise were adding a lot of sizzles, so you could hear the piano cutting through all these other tracks. So the initial piano, believe it or not, sounded more like, I'll play it for you. Sounded more like this. I'm going to add what I took out. That's what the microphones picked up. Kind of like this. Right? Just kind of. But after you EQ it, which take all that off. We're just going to take it off. You can make it much clearer like this. Right? That's EQing. Add the effects back in. And here it is one more time. Piano with effects, EQ, and compression. Reverb, delay. Wow. Right? Huge difference. A lot of records, of other piano players, people like to mix their stuff with no delay and very little reverb. So it'd be more like this. More raw. But I like so the piano is a bigger part of the sonic space. So right now we're just hearing drums and piano. Nothing else. So let's get that bass back in there. There's some other bass parts that I had added. Let's see, what else have we got? Oops, I hit the microphone. Okay. So we've talked about volume, panning, equalization, compression, reverb, and delay. What else do we have? Distortion. Well, you might be thinking, why do you want to distort anything? It's not rock and roll. Sometimes you have to distort something because it's just simply too clean sounding and is boring. So, with that said, I recorded this higher bass part on a Fender Jazz bass. And the clean sound was just really, really boring. Let's listen to the part to where I added distortion. Here's bass with distortion and reverb. Oops. Take the reverb off. Here's bass. It's kind of ugly sounding by itself. However, when you put it in the track and you put reverb on it, listen to what it does. It adds just some cool noise. when you add distortion on certain sounds. So it's just part of the mixing process, you know? Not everything should be super squeaky clean, because now and then you need some edge and some different, I don't know, stuff. Let's get to all the green stuff. There's a ton of keyboard sounds. Oh my goodness gracious. Hello. We're going to start with the main sound that starts the beginning of the song. It's called a pluck loop. Yeah. This is a sample I found. And I got to be honest with you, I don't think we did anything except turn it up. And it sounded good. So, there's that. I don't know why this camera is not focusing. I think it's focusing on this microphone. Anyway. What are the other sounds? We got a pad. Here's this. We have this sound. Wow. So to me, that needs a little EQ. It's a little fluffy and muffly. So, right? You hear that? Oh, I've already EQ'd it a little bit. What if we EQ'd it more? That's a little more clear. So maybe Bob did something like that in the final mix. I actually don't know. Yeah. All right, what's the next sound? Ah, analog pad. There it is. You just set it to the volume you want, and you leave it there. What else is in here? There's an effects track. What is this? Keyboard effects. Oh, that sound. That's cool. These are random just sounds that are coming in and out of the mix. So all I did with that one was add a compressor so that it kept all the sounds kind of, you know, in a place that weren't too unruly. That's what a compressor does, remember? Compresses things into something that you can hear equally. Okay. And then there's other sounds in here, you know. I'm going to get to it. So, let's put all these in and see, yeah, I got a mini Moog, a Wurlitzer, oh, a Hammond organ. What is the Wurlitzer doing? Oh, yeah. Wurlitzer keyboard. These are just little sounds. I as a producer, you got to just add different things here and there. Simple. That's in there, right? What's interesting is you may not hear all those individual notes in the final mix. However, if you muted it, that whole track, you would sense and feel that something was missing. It's a weird phenomena. You don't necessarily, like I said, hear every little detail of every part. But if you get rid of it, something's not right. Interesting, huh? All right. So the end of the song, I wanted to build up a little bit and add a new sound. So I added some Hammond organ. Really just high note, thin sounding to soar on top of everything else that was going on. This is real Hammond organ. Instead of adding like a high string note up there, I thought organ would be cooler. So let's listen to that end and that organ coming in. Here it is. Here's the organ coming in. I'm turning it up really loud so you can hear it. That's mixing. I could have turned it up that loud. Or I could have it really soft. Or I could put it where I think it should be. Right there. See what I'm saying? All right. So with all these tracks, undoubtedly Bob has gone through each one individually, done EQ, done compression, added reverb. Some things get delay. Some things don't. You don't want to add too much delay because then it gets too messy. And some things don't even get reverb. Because, like I said, it's all about creating a space. You want things up close. So the more reverb there is, the further away the sound feels like it is. So if something has no reverb, it's going to be right up on you. Well, I have reverb on my vocal mic. But you get the point. So I think one of the things that has no reverb on it is like this little trap hi-hat. This little part. Hear that? By the way, listen to this sound turned up. Do you hear that it's distorted? I added distortion onto this hi-hat to create that sound. Otherwise, the hi-hat sounds more like this. Thin and sizzly. But I wanted two hi-hats on this song, and I wanted them to contrast. So this initial one, no distortion, and really no EQ, just and then the other one, distortion, and some added EQ in the mid-range. Interesting, right? So, you see how up close that little trap hat is in the mix? So I like to have intimate sounds and then big giant sounds far away to create this sound field. So again, that you can step into this sonic world. That's what I'm trying to do with a mix. So, with the remaining few minutes, let's just listen to this last chorus one more time, the raw tracks with what I've done. This is Pro Tools, all my tracks. Come on, camera. Okay. Now let's listen to my rough mix that I did. Here's my rough mix. Sorry, it was loud. Rough mix. All right, now listen to Bob's final mix. Hear how clear everything is? So there's a couple more things before I let you go that I want to tell you about because they were on my list. All right, let's go back here. So we got volume, panning, EQ, compression, reverb, delay, distortion. Modulation is another thing. This is like, sometimes you don't really use this very often, at least I don't. Chorus or flanger. I'll just demonstrate it real quick on one sound. So a flanger would be used a bunch in like, I used it in like 70s music. And let me explain. Let me get this bass part up. For instance, I added this extra high bass part I put on my Instagram the other day. All right, whoops. We're just going to listen to one track of it. Oh, come on. Here we go. All right, there's a high bass. This is the raw bass track. Whoops. All right. First of all, it needs an EQ because it has a lot of blip, 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 blip. So I'm going to take a lot of the low end off. Watch this. Clean it up. Right? That's better. Now let's add a flanger. Ah, yes. Modulation. Flange. Let's see. Or a phaser, they call it. Which one am I going to use? I don't know. I'm just picking one here. Meta flanger. I don't know what this sounds like, but you'll get the idea. You hear that? I'll bypass it now. Raw. On. That's a flanger. So that, sometimes you need to do that. Obviously, I'm not doing it on that. I was just demonstrating it. Yeah. Let me put those back to normal. So the last thing on the list is automation. And this is really a huge part of mixing. Automation. So you may ask, what if you set the volume for each thing and later on in the song, a particular sound is now too loud or too soft? What do you do now? Used to be, in the old days, you had to literally move each fader by hand while you were laying off the mix to a tape, a 2-inch tape, or no, a half-inch tape for the final 2-track. So it was crazy. Nowadays, we have what's called automation in the computer, and I'll zoom in and show you real quick so you can get a sense of what that means. So a lot of the automation will be done on the lead, for instance, the piano. So I have done 0 automation on the volume of the piano, as by apparent to this flat blue line. However, if you can start drawing in other things, and this all changes the volume, and I'll let you hear it. This is going to be horrible, but you'll hear it. See it get soft? Now a little louder. Now really soft. So that's just kind of a crude way to just show you what it does. We get in there really, really nitty gritty down to sometimes per note. We are doing volume automation so that everything is heard exactly how we want it to be. So, and every track too. It's pretty tedious, but you got to do it. Otherwise, it's not as good as it could be. Okay. So that's mixing in a nutshell. 1 hour situation here. So I hope you weren't too bored. Oh, my goodness. Thanks for hanging out. Yeah. All right. That's all I got. So, what are you guys thinking? Oh, here we go. Yeah, oh, my goodness. I got to do this. Ah! All right, you guys. You made it. You stayed with it. You got me doing masterclasses over here. What? Sing it!
It's Friday night.
Friday night. Yeah.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. And I hope you learned something.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night. It's Friday night. Delay. All right. So, Hang Club members, if you got any more questions, I'm going to post a little thing tomorrow so you can ask some more questions. All right?
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night.
It's Friday night. It's Friday night.
It's Friday night.
Because I've been mixing for 30 years. 30 years. You've been mixing for 1 hour. Yeah, you know. There it is. You'll figure it out. But now you have a sense of what it means. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see y'all in the chat in just a sec. Cheers, you guys. Oh, the blings are back. What? All righty. Well, there it was. Oh, I see we've lost... our viewership is lower today. It's all good because it means you guys really actually care and you want to know these things. It's all good. You know. Staying with it. All right. Oh, boy. All right. Well, hey, I just thought I would do something a little different tonight. Because why not? Why not? You know, I can't just be playing music all night, every Friday. We got to mix it up. I like mixing it up. Uh-huh. Chuck really enjoyed it. Thanks, man.
Stay with it.
Uh-huh. Carolyn says she stayed with it for me. Well, that's nice. I hope it wasn't too, like, over the head or whatever. I just tried to break it down and give a sense of some realities there of what it means. And next month, I'm going to talk about mastering, too. What the difference between mastering and mixing is. Mastering is another one of those mystical things that people don't really know. What is mastering? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. Bryant Green wants to learn how to mix. All you got to do is start. You got to start messing around, you know? You got to just understand those basics that I listed out and just experiment. It's all about experimentation. Try it out. Add the EQ and see what it does. Add different compressors. Here's the crazy thing. With different EQs and different compressors, they do different things too. So you got to understand the subtleties between different brands of EQs and different brands of compressors, different brands of reverbs, etc. So it gets really deep, really, really deep. That's why the people like Bob Horn are so in demand, because they understand those tiny, tiny, tiny subtleties between everything and know how to manipulate it so brilliantly. So there you go. Now you know.
Stay with it.
Adarella, thank you. She says music lovers really appreciate that, or this, and I hope so. That's what I'm trying to do every week. Just kind of bring back the curtain on what we do, so people end up, in essence, appreciating what you're listening to, your favorite records in a different light, in a new light, more with your eyes open, I guess. Anyway, thanks you guys. Enjoy the weekend. We'll catch y'all next week. Later.